The novel begins with Jean Valjean, a man imprisoned for 19 years for stealing a loaf of bread. After his release, he is shunned by society due to his status as a former convict. A kind bishop shows him mercy, inspiring Valjean to turn his life around. The bishop's act of forgiveness serves as a catalyst for Valjean's transformation, as he vows to live a life of virtue. This moment introduces the theme of grace, contrasting with the harshness of the law. Valjean adopts a new identity, Monsieur Madeleine, and becomes a successful factory owner and mayor in the town of Montreuil-sur-Mer. However, his past haunts him as Javert, a rigid police inspector, becomes suspicious of his true identity. Valjean's rise to prominence shows how one can reform and thrive when given a second chance, but it also highlights the inescapable burden of his criminal past. His internal struggle between hiding his past and doing the right thing forms a central conflict. Fantine, one of Valjean's former employees, is a single mother forced into prostitution to provide for her daughter, Cosette. She becomes gravely ill, and Valjean, moved by guilt and compassion, vows to care for Cosette after Fantine dies. Fantine's fall from grace is a tragic example of how society neglects and punishes the poor, especially women. Her plight symbolizes the broader social injustice that runs throughout the novel, and Valjean's decision to take responsibility for Cosette marks his deeper moral awakening. Valjean rescues Cosette from the cruel Thénardiers, an innkeeper family that had been exploiting her. He raises her as his own daughter, giving her the love and care she never had. Cosette represents innocence and hope, a light in Valjean's otherwise dark world. His commitment to her becomes central to his redemption, as she offers him a sense of purpose and a chance to atone for his past. Throughout the novel, Javert relentlessly pursues Valjean, representing the unyielding force of the law. His moral rigidity contrasts with Valjean's evolving sense of mercy and compassion. Javert is obsessed with order and views the law as absolute, unable to comprehend the possibility of personal change or redemption. His pursuit of Valjean becomes a symbol of the conflict between legal justice and moral righteousness. The story shifts to Paris, where political unrest is growing. The students, led by Enjolras, plan a rebellion against the French government, advocating for liberty and equality. Among the group is Marius, a young man who falls in love with Cosette. The uprising represents the struggle for social justice and the voice of the oppressed, themes that mirror Valjean's personal journey. The students' idealism contrasts with the harsh realities they face, and their sacrifice becomes a poignant critique of a society indifferent to the suffering of its people. Marius and Cosette meet and quickly fall in love. Valjean, fearing the loss of Cosette's affection, is reluctant to let her go, highlighting his struggle with attachment and the fear of losing his purpose. Their love represents innocence and a new beginning amidst the chaos of the political upheaval. Valjean's protective nature toward Cosette becomes both his strength and his vulnerability, as he must learn to let go for her happiness. The student uprising erupts, and Marius joins the barricades. Valjean, despite his fear of losing Cosette, goes to the barricades to protect Marius. The rebellion is a symbol of the fight for justice, though the uprising ultimately fails. The barricades symbolize the resistance of the oppressed against a corrupt system, and the student's martyrdom highlights the theme of sacrifice. Valjean's presence at the barricades shows his willingness to risk everything for love, even when he no longer believes in the cause itself. During the battle, Valjean saves the wounded Marius by carrying him through the Paris sewers, risking his life to ensure Cosette's happiness. This act solidifies Valjean's role as a selfless protector. The grueling journey through the sewers symbolizes Valjean's final confrontation with his past and society's filth, both literal and moral. His rescue of Marius is a testament to his transformation into a figure of moral strength and courage, willing to endure any hardship for the sake of others. After witnessing Valjean's compassion and mercy, Javert is faced with a moral dilemma. His rigid worldview collapses, as he cannot reconcile Valjean's goodness with his belief in the absolute law. Unable to cope, Javert takes his own life. Javert's suicide is symbolic of the failure of a system that prioritizes law over humanity. His inability to see beyond black and white morality reflects the novel's critique of a society that punishes rather than rehabilitates. Marius recovers from his injuries, and he and Cosette are married. Valjean, feeling that his purpose is fulfilled, begins to withdraw from their lives, believing that Marius and Cosette would be better off without him. Valjean's self-imposed isolation reflects his lingering belief that he is unworthy of happiness. Despite his redemption, he cannot fully escape the shadow of his past, illustrating the complex nature of guilt and forgiveness. Valjean's health deteriorates as he isolates himself, weighed down by his past and a sense of unworthiness. He believes his criminal background will always make him an outsider, despite the redemption he has earned through his actions. His physical decline mirrors his internal struggle, as Valjean wrestles with his sense of identity and belonging. Even after a lifetime of good deeds, he remains haunted by the stigma of his former life, underscoring the novel's exploration of societal judgment. Marius learns of Valjean's true identity and the sacrifices he made for him and Cosette. Filled with gratitude, he and Cosette rush to Valjean's side to reconcile before it's too late. Marius' realization marks a turning point in the story, as Valjean's sacrifices are finally acknowledged. It also illustrates the novel's theme of redemption through love, as Marius and Cosette embrace Valjean, offering him the acceptance he has long sought. In a touching scene, Valjean dies peacefully, surrounded by Marius and Cosette. He is finally at peace, having found redemption through love and sacrifice. His death represents the fulfillment of his journey, as he leaves behind a legacy of compassion and selflessness. The novel ends on a note of spiritual transcendence, with Valjean achieving the peace he had been denied in life. A key theme throughout Les Misérables is the conflict between justice and mercy. Valjean's transformation from a criminal to a man of conscience, contrasted with Javert's rigid belief in the law, explores the idea that true justice must be tempered with compassion. Hugo critiques the legal and social systems that prioritize punishment over rehabilitation, arguing that love and mercy are the true paths to redemption. The characters' fates illustrate the devastating effects of a world without forgiveness. The novel frequently uses light and darkness to symbolize the characters' moral and spiritual journeys. Valjean's redemption is often associated with light, while Javert's unyielding pursuit of justice is linked to darkness. Throughout the novel, light becomes a symbol of hope, love, and redemption, while darkness reflects despair, guilt, and the rigidity of the law. Hugo uses these contrasts to highlight the moral complexity of his characters and the transformative power of love. Let us know in the comments what books you'd like to see us summarize next. Happy learning, we will catch you in the next story.